Artificial Intelligence Doctor www.abcpharma.net/English. Is possible to have a third-degree atrioventricular block and to be able to swim or to row or to walk 1 hour? Claude AI. Yes, it is possible for some individuals with third-degree atrioventricular block, complete heart block, to engage in physical activities such as swimming, rowing, or walking for an hour. However, the ability to tolerate such activities depends on several factors and varies from person to person. In third-degree AV block, the atria and ventricles beat independently, with the ventricles usually contracting at a slower rate than the atria. The ability to maintain adequate cardiac output during physical activity depends on the intrinsic escape rhythm of the ventricles and the effectiveness of compensatory mechanisms. Factors that may allow some patients with third-degree AV block to tolerate moderate physical activity include 1. Stable, relatively fast ventricular escape rhythm. If the intrinsic ventricular rate is sufficient to maintain adequate cardiac output during activity, the patient may be able to tolerate moderate exercise. 2. Effective compensatory mechanisms. If the patient's compensatory mechanisms, such as increased stroke volume and peripheral vasoconstriction, can maintain adequate perfusion during activity, they may be able to engage in moderate exercise. 3. Absence of underlying heart disease. If the patient has no significant structural heart disease or other comorbidities that limit cardiac function, they may have a better tolerance for physical activity. 4. Gradual adaptation to the condition. Some patients with chronic third-degree AV block may have developed adaptive mechanisms over time that allow them to tolerate moderate physical activity. However, it is essential to note that engaging in physical activity with third-degree AV block carries risks and should only be done under close medical supervision. Many patients with this condition have reduced exercise tolerance and may experience symptoms such as fatigue, dizziness, or syncope during physical activity. In general, patients with third-degree AV block are advised to consult with their cardiologist before engaging in any significant physical activity. The cardiologist may recommend exercise stress testing to assess the patient's response to physical stress and determine the safety of engaging in specific activities. In many cases, patients with third-degree AV block may require pacemaker implantation to ensure adequate heart rate and cardiac output during physical activity. Cohere AI. Third-degree atrioventricular (AV) block is a serious cardiac condition that typically requires careful medical management and close monitoring. The ability to engage in physical activities like swimming, rowing, or walking for an extended duration is generally not advised for individuals with this condition without proper medical intervention and supervision. Third-degree AV block represents a complete dissociation between the heart's atrium and ventricles. The electrical impulse from the atrium cannot reach the ventricles, leading to asynchronous contractions and inefficient pumping of blood. This can result in dizziness, fainting, and even cardiac arrest if left untreated. Given the severity of third-degree AV block, individuals with this condition often require a pacemaker to regulate their heart rate and rhythm. A pacemaker implants an electronic device that detects the heart's electrical activity and delivers controlled electrical impulses to the heart muscle, ensuring a regular heart rhythm. With a properly programmed and functioning pacemaker, some individuals with third-degree AV block can lead active lives, including engaging in moderate physical activities like walking or swimming under medical supervision. However, vigorous exercises, such as competitive rowing or intense sports, are generally discouraged due to the risk of further compromising heart function or inducing arrhythmias. The decision to allow physical activity in individuals with third-degree AV block depends on several factors. 1. Pacemaker functionality. The presence of a well-functioning pacemaker that effectively regulates heart rate and rhythm is crucial. 2. Cardiac reserve. The patient's overall cardiac reserve and functional capacity are considered. Individuals with better cardiac reserve might have greater tolerance for physical activity. 3. Medical assessment. A comprehensive medical evaluation, including cardiovascular examination and imaging, can help determine the patient's ability to engage in specific activities. 4. Arrhythmia risk. The risk of developing dangerous arrhythmias during exertion must be carefully assessed. Certain activities might trigger arrhythmias in some individuals. 5. Physician guidance. The guidance of a cardiologist or electrophysiologist is essential. They can provide personalized recommendations based on the patient's health status, pacemaker performance, and exercise preferences. While it is possible for some individuals with third-degree AV block to undertake moderate physical activities, strict medical monitoring and individualization of activity recommendations are necessary for safety. Unsupervised vigorous exercise is generally not recommended due to the potential risks. People with this condition should always consult their healthcare providers before engaging in any physical activities.